This is related to the comic discussion. Just I don't know if you're aware of this, Di. The current head of long-term WWE creative, his name is Rob Fee. Okay, do you know where he came from?
No.
Marvel Comics, Daredevil, the Avengers. He's been there at least 2 years, from what I just researched. So big comic book influence over there, of course.
Konnan, did you guys watch Raw?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, okay, so I just browsed through this. I watched the Hulu version. Took an hour and a half, right? Bro, they left out a lot of content you would have thought would have been on the thing. So a lot of stuff. I guess some good stuff happened on this show that I didn't get to see. We'll talk about it.
And they did a 1.725, and I'm putting the quarters up now, but that was off USA. So that's really, really good.
No, they're doing solid. It says after, yeah. There's general interest in the product right now.
Right.
Okay. So then, bro, I want to make this point. The ratings right now, between now and the end, the ratings are actually irrelevant. Okay. They've got so much exposure on social media. All right. And they've already got their new deal, and they're just in a lame duck window right now of ending with USA and Fox. So it doesn't. Honestly, they could do 1.3 million people, and that's irrelevant because they're sitting on a $2.5 billion rights fees deal coming right up with Netflix here. That they've already got them. They've already got the money for. So it's like it doesn't really matter what they do. The way you measure the WWE right now is if you start seeing empty seats in the arenas at the TV tapings, because bro, everything is packed right now. They're still breaking records. Those metrics have not slowed down at all, and so the actual rating from any wrestling promotion standpoint doesn't really make that much of a difference right now, regardless of what Vince Russo says.
Well, let me give you a little info on another metric here that I just saw.
Would you agree with that, Konnan? I want to get Konnan's thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. What is it that you said Vince Russo saying? I didn't understand.
Well, I didn't think with it. Well, perfect example. Just Vince thinks everything's like I said. This past week's show sounded pretty good, and he goes, "I go, let me take a wild guess. Well, what do you think?" He said it sucked. And I'm like, all right, so, bro. We'll get to this. I'll give you Vince's take on some of the things that happened. But
right.
But his criticisms are so nitpicky and just not even his opinions on these things are irrelevant. Like because
his audience wants him to be negative, kind of. So if he's nitpicking, he's doing.
Well, he just feeds into it because he doesn't. Well, one of his comments we'll talk about coming up is completely illogical. It's just so.
How could you have an audience that thinks WWE is bad?
He does, because Vince tells him it's terrible, and I'm trying to explain to Vince, how much worse could they be doing? Like, how are they doing bad? If you were writing the show right now, you would be bragging about how good you're doing and how good the show is because the arenas are filled and you're breaking attendance records. So how could you say this sucks? Like, it's like if you were writing this and you were saying this show sucks and you were selling out. And setting records, the people would think you were an imbecile.
But do you think that the people that listen to a show, they respect him so much as a writer that because he's telling them the show isn't written good, they're believing him?
He's an entertaining listen.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to Vince's stuff, he's very he's on our show, he's entertaining. He's very like his burials of the show are very like he's entertaining. Vince is a very good podcaster. He brings it. He doesn't shy away. He tells it like so. It's like when you it's like Cornette. Cornette buries people, but it is an entertaining listen. I don't agree with everything the guy says, but like there's certain podcasters that are just you see these nerd podcasts, and these guys are just
So he's entertaining to listen to, bearing WWE. Okay,
right.
So another metric that I wanted to bring to DI's attention here, because this is irrelevant to TV ratings, because this is going to be its own thing forever and ever, is the top YouTube videos of July. Right. And pay attention to the names that keep getting brought up here. It's pretty fascinating. Okay, so number one clip, 3.374 million. Rhea Ripley's return. Okay, 2 was that WrestleMania behind the curtain special, of course. 3 was Money in the Bank highlights. 4, Rhea to Dirty Dom, Your Mind.
Well, the numbers though, Joe.
So the first one was 3.3, almost 3.4 million. WrestleMania behind the curtain, 2.76.
Oh, it goes lower. All right.
Yeah, Money in the Bank highlights 2.46. But anyway. So Rhea to Dom's 4, Liv destroys the Judgment Day's property, 5, Dirty Dom breaks Liv's heart, 6, Punk and Rollins, 7, Punk, Rollins, and McIntyre 8. Cena announces retirement is 9, and Dominic is caught in the compromising position 10. So the Dom, Liv, Rhea stuff is all over the top 10 clips.
Right. Okay. So next is so Monday Night Raw. Starts off with Ludwig Kaiser doing a very entertaining introduction of Gunther. Gunther comes out, is basically bragging about winning. Says he was he was the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, the King of the Ring. Now he's a World Champion. He's better than the other wrestlers, and he said nothing can catch him off guard. And his greatness personified. I thought that was good. So Randy Orton comes out. Said Gunther got his title shot because he beat him at King of the Ring, but then he questioned the win because even Triple H questioned the win because you didn't beat me, my shoulders were up, but I'm not going to complain. But I am going to say that it is, I do have a receipt coming for a rematch, and I'm cashing in on that, right? He says, I made a career out of killing legends, and he boasted that he would do the same at the Bash in Berlin and walk out as a new world champion. Gunther said everything Orton said is true. He said not beating Orton clean King of the Ring left a stain on his record, and said that if the voices in Orton's head were telling Orton that he could win, his voices were wrong. That was a good line. And then Gunther accepted the challenge and offered a handshake, in which Orton accepted. Then they took the house mic down and pulled close together. They said into each other's ear on the camera mic. He said that nothing catches him out of nowhere. And Orton said that's good to know because he wants Gunther to see it coming. And then he left the ring. What did you think of it?
Well, they got right to the point. He went out there. He said, hey, I deserve a reason. This is why Triple H agreed with me. The match was made between two guys that are really over. You don't got to sell it that much because the name sell it itself. I think it was a little too much when, Orton goes, who wants to see the next Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat match, which I don't know why you're,
Yeah, right. Why you're saying that.
Yeah,
right.
It's a little bit too much, right? Yeah.
Right.
But, your job is to sell it. And it'll be a great match with great personalities and great promos, and everything will be great about this.
Right. Gunther was not super heelish here. He's very kind of cocky because, bro, he's going to Germany.
Right.
So I don't think they even really want a lot of heat on him for this because the fans are still even if they put solar heat on the guy, it's going to be all for
still German, right?
50% of the fans are going to cheer for him too. So they want to go for the reaction. Probably they don't care. Gunther getting cheered and Orton getting booed. So so they'll just play it up like just two straight up guys, fighting each other. So I didn't get to see this. This did not make it to Hulu. So I guess Ludwig Kaiser stayed in the ring, and Sheamus was interviewed and called him a human Ken doll. Then they went out and had a match. And so what does that sound, by the way? Oh no, you rubbing something, Konnan? Were you?
No.
Oh, it's your mic on your face.
Yeah, your mic is muted.
I was probably hitting the bottom part of my
there you go. Right. There you go. Okay, you're good now. Actually, you're not. Okay, you are good now. Okay. So next, so they had the match, Sheamus against Kaiser. Pete Dunne showed up and tried to hit Sheamus with the shillelagh, but Sheamus avoided it, and Sheamus got the better of Dunne, then headed back to the ring he got hit with the enziguri. Then Sheamus came back with the bro kick and won. So it was a good back and forth match. Sheamus got the win, but Kaiser continues to look like a wrestler on the rise. That was Powell's POV. What'd you think?
Very good match. I don't know if these guys used to wrestle in Europe or they're just two good workers facing each other. I mean, there's just hardly any bad workers anymore. And you know what I'm saying? This was a good match. And Pete Dunne against Sheamus in the future also would be good.
All right. So next was they showed that Roman Reigns' return had over 100 million social media views. That's like little under one out of every 3 person in the United States would have seen.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Plus, how great was the video? How great was the video? And they were showing the people.
We'll talk about that later. We'll get to that. So they aired a Bray Wyatt on the Wyatt Six video. They recapped Finn Balor turn on Priest, and Priest walks to the ring. Power walked to the ring. Said he's not just upset about losing the championship. He said Balor made him feel like he disappointed his family. He said his fans are his family now. He can't let that stand. Priest said that when Balor is suffering, he should know that he's the reason for the pain. And Priest called for Balor to come out so the beatings could begin. Then Finn showed up on the big screen, and this is what WWE does very well. He explained why he did what he did. Said they were all supposed to have each other's backs and there were no leaders, but that changed once Priest became champion. Balor said he nearly became champion a year ago, and Priest told him it was time to man up. And Balor said he waited a full year, and he screwed Priest and his whole family. Balor said Priest is street trash and he wouldn't fight him, but JD McDonough would. Balor said he would wait until Priest feels comfortable and has almost forgotten about him, and then he'll be there to stab him in the back. And Balor said it won't just be him, we all will. And the camera panned back, and it was all the Judgment Day there besides Rhea. Then McAfee assumed that Balor and his crew were the new Judgment Day. And Priest got upset and then headed to the back. What'd you think?
I thought this was very well done. And I like at the end when Balor introduces the new Judgment Day with Carlito and Liv and, the whole crew. That was very well done.
All right. So Adam Pearce is on the phone backstage, and Bronson Reed shows up, and he said he beat Sheamus last week. So why was Sheamus having a match? Then Pearce spoke about Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. Then Reed said Pearce always had an excuse. If he wants to go get to the top, then he'll need to take matters into his own hands. All right. So remember that line. This did not make it to Hulu, but your boy Conan, who did Shayna Baszler wrestle? I want you to pronounce this girl's name.
Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah, she got it right this time.
Right.
Lyra Valkyria beats her in 2 minutes and 40 seconds by DQ when Stark ran in for the attack, and then Damage Control cleared the ring. So just...
I'd like to know when Damage Control turned face. I mean, explain everything else so well, but not this.
So I didn't see... This did not make it to Hulu either. A pre-tape across... spoke about how AOP put an end to New Day, and he said New Day stood the test of time, but all good things must come to an end. Cross, it didn't have to be this way for Xavier Woods, who's too afraid to become his own man. Said he gave Woods opportunity after opportunity, then added certainly more opportunities than I've been given. Interesting. This is actually not a bad character because he's showing like he's kind of like if he would be a guy on the internet complaining about all the opportunities he was never given in WWE, but he's actually on the show and he's trying to mess with people. So I think that's actually not a bad. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, here's the thing. When I saw the promo, I thought, good. Finally, he's gonna explain what he's doing with Authors of Pain, and Dylan, or who's the guy with him?
He's not JJ Dillon. What's his name?
Yeah,
Paul Ellering. And
it's good.
He was no, and he was just kind of explaining New Day. He was talking about New Day, and I'm like, why don't you explain? Who are the guys behind you? Why are you with them? Why is Ellering with you? What's going on? Will that ever be explained at all? Please, maybe, somehow. Right. And Ellering, who's been there for a while now, spoke the first words that I've heard him speak since he first got there. While Kevin Cross was talking, he turned around and to one of the Author of Pain guys and went, "Arr." That was kind of about it.
So Ivy Nile backstage with the Creeds, and then the Maxine Dupree showed up, and Dupree wasn't happy about the Creeds, and Gable showed up and told Nile that Dupree brings up the table and shoot her away from them. Then CM Punk makes his entrance, and basically he's kind of babyface promo. So the night wasn't guaranteed because of the injury he suffered the Rumble, and Punk said he was told the injury would silence him for 9 months, but he was able to come back in 5. That's actually not true. Did we talk about how you can Google injury information?
Right, yeah.
He was. So that was fit. He's putting himself over, but that from a technical standpoint, that was the exact amount of time that he should have recovered from. Punk put over McIntyre's side. He called him a tough. Took issue with McIntyre telling lies about me to make him feel better about himself. Said he's happy because he's back, and SummerSlam was just a start. Said the road to WrestleMania started SummerSlam, and he asked if he stayed down when he lost a match or a championship. Punk said the summer didn't start the way he wanted, but it's a summer, and the fans in Baltimore deserve less talking and more Punk fighting. He called for round 2. And Seth comes out, and basically Seth comes out, stops at the end of the aisle, stares at Punk with a very serious look on his face, takes his jacket off and drops it, and says, after 10 long years, it's time for me to put you in the dirt. And he's going to so they're getting ready to fight, okay? The Rollins went to end the ring, but Punk stood near the corner. And then Rollins said, "You going to let me in the ring?" And then Drew spoke from the crowd in the stands, in the aisle up in the stands. He said, McIntyre said, Punk proved that he still has it, but he's no longer the best in the world. I am. Then Punk and Rollins continued to stare at one another while Drew's talking up in the stands. And McIntyre said he knew how to get their attention. He held up Punk's bracelet and mentioned his wife and dog, and that got Punk's attention. Punk jumped out of the ring and went after him up in the stands. Okay, So then Seth's left there lying in the ring standing in the ring by himself and turned around, and Bronson Reed came out of nowhere and attacked him, laid him out, and Seth did a small comeback, but then he hit him with that Death Valley driver thing, then 2 sentons. Then he gave him like 3 tsunami splashes. Then the referees and producers ran out, and he was going to walk to the back, but he went back in the ring and gave him like 3 more. And they did the gimmick where Punk was like spitting up blood. And this got a good pop for the crowd because they couldn't believe what they were seeing, actually. It was like, you know what Vince told me out of it? Okay, so this was Vince's take on this segment, okay? Because Punk, Rollins, Bronson Reed got good. Vince said that, number one, he said this was getting a baby face reaction. I was like, bro, that wasn't a baby face reaction. That was just like the people were popping because it was a good angle. Like it was devastating what he was doing. He was like squashing the guy. It wasn't like he was getting cheered.
I did not get that out of that. Yeah.
Me neither. And then he said, this angle sucks because we know they're just feeding him like they did with Nakamura to Seth, and everybody's going to forget about the guy 6 weeks from now.
Well, how do you know that?
That's from my point. I'm like, dude, that's your take. That's why you don't like this, because you think it's a repeat of the Nakamura angle. I go, this is good television. This did not suck like you think it is. So yeah, Vince he's got clueless takes on this. So, so what did you think of this whole segment?
Very well done. What a way to make Bronson Reed interesting again.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, almost like
he's got a basic move too. He just jumps off the thing. He just gets to the top.
No, but he's a good worker for a big guy, bro. Yeah.
Good selling by Seth too. Excellent, by the way.
Yeah.
So they go backstage. Pierce and Rollins go in the hospital. He's got internal bleeding, maybe. Punk was running around looking for Drew, and Pierce told him that he told Drew to leave. Then we have the New Day versus AOP. This did not make it to Hulu, but they were getting the better of the New Day. And then Odyssey Jones, I guess is an NXT guy. I don't know who this guy is. But he came out and ran Cross in the ring apron, and Cole acted unfamiliar with him, but then identified him. Then Jones tossed Cross over the barricade, and then in the ring, Woods caught a distracted Rizzo with an inside cradle and got the 3 count. And after the match, Jones broke up a post-match attack by AOP, and Jones picked up both AOP members with each arm and slammed them both to the mat. Cross returned to the ring, but Jones put him down as well. What did you think about this?
Very good debut for somebody I had forgotten about. I don't know if he was injured in NXT because I hadn't seen him in a long time. But bro, he guy's humongous. Kind of looks like a more agile Keith Lee, like when Keith Lee was younger and could go. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very athletic for being so big, and he picked up both of those guys for like double sidewide slams, the AOP guys who are not small.
Right.
Yeah. Good
yeah.
introduction. He got over.
So some of this stuff made to Hulu, other stuff didn't. But the JD McDonough video interview package aired, and there was actually a pretty good promo he cut about Priest.
That's maybe the best promo he's ever cut.
Yeah. So then they do Austin Theory and Waller make their entrance, and backstage, Odyssey Jones told Kingston he was honored to help out New Day, and then Kingston introduced Jones to Woods. Jones told Woods that Kingston said they needed help against Final Testament. Then Woods kind of like looked a little surprised, I guess. But then Akira Tozawa, Otis, and Maxine Dupree showed up. And then Woods joined in while Tozawa did his dance. So they're still showing like the New Day guys are not on the same page, I guess is the story.
That reminds me, excuse me, that reminds me of in like 98, you know, the LOD was being presented as having some trouble getting older. So Animal brings Draws in to help, but doesn't tell Hawk. And so Hawk's like, oh, that's kind of what that reminds me of. You know?
Right. So they do the Miz and R-Truth does not make it to tons of stuff did not make it to Hulu on the show. So Miz and R-Truth against Grayson Waller in Theory. And basically Truth hoisted up Waller and swung him in a way that his legs hit Miz, who tumbled to ringside, and Theory hit the 8-count down on Truth. So Waller and Theory beat Truth, and there's really no angle here.
Yeah.
Miz helped him the Truth up and shook his hands and hugged him after the match because, like, I guess he's like. Then they go to a Damian Priest promo, a good promo. And he said of finish it up with a plan to send his big headed straight to hell.
Now, what do you think about? I know you said that this one was good, particularly, but overall, what have you thought of Priest on the mic? Because a lot of the internet sent.
Oh, he was really good.
He stumbles or this and that.
No, he was very good on the mic.
Yeah, I thought so too. So too.
Well, he was trying to. Let me tell you the problem with Priest. Okay, you know he's like a New York tough guy, and they were writing him and like trying to make him a babyface, trying to make him likable. But bro, all he's gonna do is just talk tough.
Be a badass.
And that's his gimmick, you know.
No surprise.
He's angry and he's a New York tough guy. So I don't.
The internet's never really taken to Priest, and this has been going on since like I knew him, back at the factory. Like he would get an ROH tryout. Him and QT had a Ring of Honor tryout. That crowd hated those guys, hated them. Ring of Honor crowd. And same thing when he was first on NXT. Like they signed this guy, Punisher Martinez. Yeah, the internet doesn't, or hasn't really taken to Priest.
So then they do like, bro, they do a lot of this on the show because you know what the funny thing is? Like this is one of the differences in actual writing of a show that is doing well is so JD McDonough makes his entrance. Okay, so the JD McDonough Priest match is coming up. All right. So then he does his entrance, but then they go backstage to a Braun Breaker promo. Okay. And he said all the wrestlers in WWE like to talk about their title reigns and how long they lasted. And Breaker said it's taken him less than 3 years since he arrived in NXT to win the Intercontinental title. Breaker said he still considers himself the hunter. Said he feels sorry for whatever idiot thinks he can take the title away from him. He said the championship was born to be on his shoulder, and he showed the side plate with his name on it, and said there's not a man on the planet who could take his name off this title. This is a really good promo, I thought, even though it was short and sweet.
Very good promo.
But bro, think about this, okay? You're doing a ring entrance for a match, and we inserted character development for a completely different character before that match even starts, and it's very quick, and you're not changing the channel when you're seeing stuff like this. That's why the writing of the show has been actually very, very well done from a writing standpoint. So we do Priest versus McDonough. Of course, they do the interference and everything, and Balor is beating on him, and Priest actually does a big comeback on the three of them, okay? And then it's him and Balor, and basically Balor grabs Priest grabs Balor as he tries to run out of the ring. The Dom comes in with Liv. So they start beating down on Priest, and all of a sudden Ripley comes and she hits the ring, and Dom and Liv leave. All right, well they're trying to leave. So she sets up so she slams Liv into the post twice, and is going to powerbomb her through the table, but Dom grabs her and pulls her through the crowd, and they leave. Then Ripley gets in the ring, goes face to face with McDonough, headbutts McDonough, and then he hits the South to Heaven chokeslam. Bro, McDonough takes great bumps. He takes these massive bumps like he's getting killed, and looks pretty good. What'd you think of this segment?
Very good, and I don't know if this happened a long time ago or they just ran into it, but if you look at the whole faction of Judgment Day, Ripley and Priest were the two that were the most alike. Right. With the colors and the makeup and the goth and you know what I'm saying? Right. And now they're going to be together. That's going to be really cool, especially if somehow in there they maybe even hook up. But them together is going to be really big. I don't know if they start their own faction or they're just going after Judgment Day, but people really liked them when they were in the ring together.
All right, so all this didn't make it to the show, and it's stuff I'm reading doesn't even interest me. So Damage Control are walking backstage, and Zoe Stark attacked. Then they got attacked by the heels, by the DeVille, Baszler, Stark. Kai's leg was hurt, so she was wondering if she was going to be able to compete. So then they all come out. They're having a what you call it? They have a Sonya versus Io Sky, and Kerry's saying because the other girl's hurt. Then I guess what's the finish here? Io Sky put DeVille back inside the ring. Okay, so let me see the finish. Sky and Sane both went up at the top at the same time. Sky performed a moonsault on DeVille and Baszler, while Sky took out Stark with an insane elbow. And Sky put DeVille back inside the ring and hit her with an over the moonsault before scoring the clean pin. So the Damage Control comes back, and they beat the heel faction already, and the heel faction's only gotten like 1 or 2 weeks of heat. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? I don't know. Any comment on this?
Not interested.
Yeah, me neither. So backstage, Ilya Dragunov and Sami Zayn had a moment, and then basically Jey Uso showed up and talks about how they got some more business to take care of. Okay, when they can finish up with Judgment Day, right? So they do their little high five. So they're together again. Remember, I told you they're gonna be involved in that storyline with the Bloodline coming up soon. So I wonder if it's going to be like with the deal where they're going to take some time where Roman comes back and it's just him because these guys don't trust him. Why would Jay, Sammy, and Jimmy trust him?
Right.
The way he treated those guys, and I guess they're going to be telling the
That's
story.
what's great about the storyline. Yeah,
right.
So many ways it can go.
Right. So Roman basically has no friends right now, kind of. Like he's back. Like he's got the new faction hates him. The other guys don't like him. He beat them all. He excommunicated all of them and beat them up. So it's like I don't know. So so the main event, the Six against the Wyatt Six against somebody wrote what was the original faction of Bray Wyatt's crew called? What were they called?
Just Wyatt family. The Wyatt.
Somebody said, I'm watching the Penn State wrestling team against the Wyatt family.
I like that. Yeah. No, right. He said the Penn State wrestling team versus Slipknot.
Oh, that's right. Whoever said that was a good line, but that's what it looked.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this because, bro, let me tell you something. These Wyatt Six guys had a lot of original looking offense that looked good. They were snug. They looked menacing. And basically they got the clean win here. Well, what'd you think about this? The Wyatt Six.
I wasn't into their wrestling too much. They didn't really impress me at all.
Really?
I'm more into the characters and the presentation than
I thought the way they wrestled was a decent part of the presentation because they were very unorthodox.
They were, but it was nothing that I was like, wow, I can't wait to see the next match.
All right, well, you're just being a hater. You're just being a hater.
No, I just didn't like it.
You and Vince should go do a podcast and review Raw. You're a hater. I was a fan of this, right. So I thought it was a good debut. But still, though, I'm just. It is weird that because say I like the presentation, but to me, I'm saying, wow, this would be so much easier to book as heels. Why are they taking this path? Like baby faces, which is kind of
because they got over.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I guess. Yeah. The presentation got them over to the point of they're going to get cheered.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. And then Uncle Howdy comes in the ring afterwards. They do their pose like it's some. They keep treating them when they're all together like it's some epic thing, and I'm like, all right, whatever. But I don't know. I'm wondering. I'm thinking about that because they had some things after they showed online when this match was over that they showed what's his name, Rowan and Uncle Hal and Bo were hugging each other and pointing to the sky up at Bray and stuff and all that. And I'm just wondering, dude, it's kind of unusual because I never met these guys, but have you ever seen all the wrestlers that we know have died, and there's been a lot of them, right? That for some reason Brody Lee and Bray Wyatt has just been their deaths have been treated completely different than anybody else ever in the business.
Yeah,
Brody Lee has a show.
They were very well liked.
Well, Eddie Guerrero's referenced a lot and used in stories, even sometimes negatively. But Eddie's got that kind of respect. Right. I think he's mentioned a lot. I can't think of anyone else. You're kind of right there.
It's weird because Bray is still
Savage and Warrior. Nah, not really. Yeah, you're right.
But I'm saying Brody Lee. They still do a memorial show every year, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you're gonna. The thing is, if you're gonna make
maybe because it's recent, they kind of died younger than expected. It's recent. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and plus too, I can see you making Bray part of the storyline. Okay, but Brody Lee isn't really part of the storyline in AEW. He's just okay when his death comes, or people remember. But Bray is an active part of this storyline because this is kind of this whole thing is designed we lost our guy for a shoot. Yeah. Now we've been lost and we've gone crazy over it. Which is kind of the gimmick. So I don't know. It's just kind of I'm curious to see where they go. 6 months from now, I'm interested to see where this faction is.
I just thought this show after SummerSlam was really good. You got two, we got a really good angle with Bronson,
right?
Who meant nothing.
Right.
You introduced this guy Odyssey Jones, who got over and was charismatic in the backstage segment. You got Punk and McIntyre still going at it. Now Rollins is in the mix. Randy Orton stepped up to Gunther. Now you've got the new Judgment Day. You've got, Priest and Rhea hooking up and becoming a tag team. The Wyatt Six, who were still. So you got a lot of good stuff going on.
Right. Let me give you a comparison here too. And tell me what you think. It's what WWE did. Spent like a specifically with this show coming out of SummerSlam, right? And the difference between like the way WWE tells stories with the way AEW tells stories, which they have a difficulty doing. So coming out of this pay-per-view, all right, all of these storylines and all of the characters in the story that were actively part of the stories of SummerSlam, every single one of them is like, if you're going down the road driving your car, it's like AEW when it's the angle's done, it's like you take the car and you park it and you put it in the garage, right?
Right.
The WWE, what they did was you just pulled to the gas station, got a tank of gas, and you're back on the road. It's like you're not missing a step. You're concluding we're forwarding these storylines going forward and stuff and things. So that's the difference in the way they're telling stories in the two companies. It's like they'll tell a story in AEW, and then the car will get parked in the garage like Wardlow, right? But here you're just getting gas and you're going right back on the road. It's like nothing really stops. They can even like some of the angles that aren't any good or aren't as interesting, like the New Day Cross stuff, bro. That's like 8 weeks of storytelling they've done so far in that. They're not slowing down on the storytelling. So we'll see where it goes. So I thought the show was pretty good, to be honest with
you. It was.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.